G'day and welcome to Blues Guitar Snacks Deluxe Servings once again. This week we're talking about, and I know this sounds a bit weird, a 9-note blues scale. Now, this is just the way I approach this. It doesn't mean that I'm really completely right, but I think I am. So this is a bit of a continuation of my Forget About the Mixolydian scale videos. This is just the way I look at the blues and the way I add the extra notes in the blues without actually thinking about scales so much, but rather thinking about language. Some people might learn this a different way, but for me, this certainly works for me, and it keeps my playing nice and bluesy while I'm adding all these other flavours here without thinking about modal stuff. You're probably thinking, well, no, the blues scale has got 5 notes, and you'd be right. But to me, with all the other flavours available and the extra notes you can add that still fit in with the blues, there are 9 options. Let's just look at the minor pentatonic, right? We all know this. In the key of G, it's the 1 on the 3rd fret. On the 6th fret, we've got the flat 3. The 4 on the 3rd fret on the A string. The flattened 5th, 1 fret up, and 1 fret up again, we've got the 5th. And then on the next string, on the 3rd fret, on the D string there, we have the flat 7. Okay, we all know that sound and we can get plenty out of it. So, in the last videos, we also added the 6th and the 9th. So let's just quickly recap on that. So let's just count up 6 on the major scale, which is your do, re, mi scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you can add that to the scale as well. For that bit brighter countryish kind of sound. And there's also the 9th as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, which is also here, and it's also up here. And it's here. Quite often we bend that one, as you can hear. Okay, so that gives you a bit more of a brighter down-home flavour as well. So with all that combined, you've got a lot more than just your 5 pentatonic or your 6 blues scale notes to play. We've actually got another 2, but there's one more, especially over the 1 chord. In particularly over the 1 chord. When this goes to the 4 chord, this is another lesson. So stick around, actually subscribe if you want to find out what that other lesson is, by the way. I was very smooth with that transition there. Plug, plug, plug. Okay, so we've got the 1, of course. The 9th, which is also in other places, right? Flattened 3, you're kind of bluesy. Your 4, your flat 5, 5, your 6, your flat 7. But we went past one note that we can also use too, which is the 3rd. Really important note for outlining the sound of the chord. So it goes, to find the 3rd, of course, we go 1, 2, 3. Right? So we've got all these notes. All of those notes work in the blues quite well. So they're your extra notes you add to the minor pentatonic scale. Let's count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, why is this amazing? Well, it's amazing because all modes and scales are normally a 7-note scale. 8 notes if you include the octave, right? So your Mixolydian, for example, is a 7-note scale and then back up to the octave. We will actually cover Mixolydian in later lessons, but I don't want anyone thinking about that right now if they're thinking about the blues. Let's just get the blues into our hearts and minds and play it that way with the extra notes. So 7, but doing it by thinking about the pentatonic as the, I guess you can call the pentatonic as the frame of the house, you know? And adding that flat fifth there is like putting the plasterboard in, the drywall as you call it in America, right? But adding these other notes, the ninth, the sixth and the third, well, that's your interior decorating. That's the complete picture. That's your wallpaper. Now let's just concentrate a little bit more on this third. Let's find the third and a few other places because it's a pretty important note. Any chord that you hear is defined by the way the third is played. Okay, a third that goes like this, do, re, mi, and that regular natural third is a major third. 1, 2, 3. So if you hear that note in a chord, it's a major sound. If it's flattened, you get a minor sound, which is a darker sound, right? So that third actually outlines the sound of a chord. So if you actually listen to this, you can actually hear the sound of the chord without me playing it. I'll just play a single line and we've got ourselves basically imagination takes over and gives you the chord. Okay, you can hear it's a more down-home blues sound as well because it's a brighter sound. So this 6 and this 9 and the third going together are all your brighter blues tones, where your flat third and your flat 7 are your darker, kind of more tough sounding blues notes. Okay, so that is your, I call it a 9-note scale, even though I never play it as a scale. It's just the notes that I have available to me. Here's an example of me playing through the same G blues rumba that I had in the first 2 videos, the Forget About Mixolydian videos, which you can catch up on just here if I figured out how to do YouTube cards properly. If I haven't, it's down in the description. I'll put the 2 links to the first 2 videos in the description. So have a listen. I start off with just a regular minor pentatonic with the blue note in there, your blues scale, the flat and fifth. And then I take another chorus and I add the 6th. Then I take another chorus and add the 9th. And then I take another chorus and add, you guessed it, I add the 3rd as well. So I use the full toolkit towards the end as well, and you'll hear me actually playing the way I play with my phrases and my vocabulary that I've put together over the years as well. Okay, I hope you heard the difference, the way it went from a fairly standard boxy kind of blues sound right up to something that was a lot sweeter, a lot more notes to choose from. A lot of notes that cross over Mixolydian, but we're not thinking about a scale. So that's all I'm going to say about it, except for one more thing before you go. The third, like I said, it's a really important note in a chord. In a G7, for example, your regular, I guess you call it a bar chord version of it, which I don't really play very much, I play other ways. It's in there. If you know your minor pentatonic around the whole neck, or your blues scuff, find your major thirds all over the neck. All over the neck. That way you've got the vocabulary under your fingers when your hands move up and down the neck, and you're not sort of like going back to your favourite position to grab that note. So that is your 9-note blues scale. See you next time.